You sit down to work or to study. You have a plan. This time is going to be different. And then somehow it happens again. Your phone lights up. You check one thing, then another, and before you know it, you're 20 minutes deep into a completely irrelevant rabbit hole, your task untouched, your motivation gone, and your brain buzzing in the worst possible way. You feel tired, restless, a little ashamed. This feels like a personal failure, like you're lazy, undisciplined, broken, but it's not. What's happening inside your head is not a lack of willpower. It's a system doing exactly what it was designed to do, just pointed in the wrong direction. Your focus didn't disappear. It was hijacked. Welcome to the dopamine trap. Your brain has a focus machine. It's not a single button you can press. It's a fragile network spread across the front of your brain, centered around the prefrontal cortex. If your mind were an orchestra, this would be the conductor. It decides what matters and what doesn't. It quiets the background noise of reality, the hum of traffic, the itch on your leg, the random memory from 5 years ago. So your mental energy can be aimed at one thing: reading, writing, solving a problem that doesn't give up easily. This kind of focus is expensive. It burns calories, it drains mental energy, and most importantly, it relies on a chemical most people misunderstand completely: dopamine. Dopamine is not the feel-good chemical. It's the "this is worth the effort" chemical. It's released when your brain believes that pushing through difficulty will pay off, when you struggle with a hard paragraph and finally understand it, when a messy idea suddenly clicks into place, when effort turns into progress. That small surge of dopamine doesn't just feel nice, it teaches your brain something important. Do this again. This is how focus is supposed to work. Effort first, reward second. A slow, stable loop that lets humans build things, learn skills, and sit still long enough to think. But this system has a weakness. It assumes that rewards are rare, earned, and tied to effort. And that assumption no longer holds, because the same chemical that rewards deep focus can also be triggered without it. And once your brain learns that shortcut, the conductor starts losing control. That's when the hijackers arrive. The hijackers don't kick the door in. They knock politely. A vibration in your pocket, a red dot, a soft chime that says, "Hey, just real quick." A notification, a short video, a new message, a like, a swipe. Each one is small, harmless on its own, but every single one delivers the same thing your focus machine runs on: dopamine. And here's the trick. Your brain releases dopamine for focus after effort. The hijackers release it before. No struggle, no patience, no cost. Just tap, scroll, receive. From your brain's perspective, this is a miracle. Why wrestle with a difficult task for a delayed reward when you can get a guaranteed hit of something interesting right now? Your brain isn't stupid, it's efficient. It evolved to keep you alive in a world where rewards were scarce and effort mattered. So when it stumbles onto a source of fast, reliable stimulation, it pays attention. A lot of attention. The conductor of your orchestra looks up from the score and notices a fireworks show going off right outside the window. Bright, loud, endless. So it turns its head, and the moment it does, the orchestra falls apart. Your thoughts scatter, the task feels heavier, the resistance spikes, not because the work changed, but because the comparison did. Once your brain knows there's an easier reward available, effort starts to feel pointless. And the more often you answer those little knocks, the more your brain learns a new rule. Focus is optional. Distraction pays better. At first, this just feels like procrastination. But over time, something deeper changes. Your brain doesn't just prefer the hijackers. It starts adapting to them. And that's where the real trap snaps shut. Because now it's not just distraction anymore, it's tolerance. Your brain is good at one thing above all else: adapting. When the hijackers show up occasionally, they're exciting, a novelty, a little spike of interest that fades quickly. But when they show up all day, every day, your brain adjusts. Those easy dopamine hits start coming so often that they stop standing out. The signal gets noisy, So your brain does what it always does with too much stimulation. It turns the volume down. What used to feel engaging now feels fine. What used to be fun is now just something to pass the time. So you scroll a little longer, watch one more video, refresh again, not because it feels amazing, but because it no longer feels bad. This is tolerance. Your baseline shifts. Meanwhile, the slow rewards of real focus don't change. Reading still releases dopamine after effort. Learning still pays off later. Progress still takes time. But compared to the constant digital fireworks, that gentle signal barely registers. It's like trying to enjoy a candle in a room that's been blasted with floodlights all day. So when you sit down to work, something feels wrong. The task feels dull, empty, pointless. Your brain pushes back. This isn't working, it says. There's nothing here. Not because there isn't a reward coming, but because your brain has been trained to expect a hurricane, not a breeze. And here's the cruel part. You didn't lose your ability to focus. You built a tolerance to it. The more you feed the hijackers, the more effort feels unrewarding. And now, even when you want to focus, your brain resists because it remembers something easier. And it wants it back. That resistance has a name: withdrawal. So you decide to stop. You put your phone face down. You close the extra tabs. You sit in front of the work you've been avoiding. And almost immediately, something feels wrong. Not dramatic, not painful, just uncomfortable. A restless energy crawls under your skin. Your thoughts won't line up. Your mind keeps reaching for something that isn't there. This isn't laziness. This is withdrawal. Your brain got used to frequent, effortless dopamine, and now it's not getting it. So it protests. Boredom sets in first, but it doesn't stay boredom for long. It turns into irritation, fog, a vague anxiety that something is missing. You reread the same sentence 3 times. Nothing sticks. Every few seconds, the urge hits. Just check real quick. Not because you need information, but because your brain wants relief. One scroll would smooth the discomfort. One video would quiet the itch. And your brain knows it. That's why the craving feels physical. This is the moment most people give up. They don't think, I'm relapsing. They think, I can't focus anyway. So they give in. Just a small break, just to reset, and the discomfort vanishes. Your brain learns something important. This feeling goes away when I distract myself. The trap tightens. Because now focus isn't just hard, it's associated with discomfort. And distraction isn't just tempting, it's relief. But even that relief has a limit. So you try to cheat the system, you decide you'll focus and distract yourself at the same time. Which brings us to the next lie, the myth of multitasking. Fine, you tell yourself, I'll compromise. You'll work, but with something on in the background, music, a podcast, a video you've already seen. You'll keep the phone nearby, just in case. It feels reasonable, even productive. But your brain's focus machine doesn't work like that. The conductor cannot lead 2 symphonies at once. What you call multitasking is really rapid task switching. Back and forth. Work, distraction, work, distraction. Each switch seems small, almost invisible, but every time it happens, your brain pays a tax. A few seconds to reorient, a little mental energy burned, a bit of context lost. Those costs stack up. Your thinking becomes shallow. Errors sneak in. Simple decisions feel heavier than they should. And the deep, immersive state where ideas connect and time disappears never arrives. Because your brain never stays in one place long enough. By the end, you're exhausted. Not from working hard, but from constantly switching gears. And the worst part? Your brain still doesn't get the reward it's looking for. The distraction is diluted. The work is fragmented. So neither feels satisfying. The hijackers don't lose here. They just stretch the fight out. You feel busy, but nothing meaningful gets done. At this point, it's easy to believe something is fundamentally wrong. That maybe this is just how your brain works now. That deep focus is a skill you missed out on. But that belief is the final illusion. Because your brain isn't broken, it's just been trained. And training can be reversed. Which brings us to the real question. Is this just how it is now? So is this it? A permanently scattered mind, a shrinking attention span, A future where reading a book feels impossible and real work feels unbearable. It can start to feel that way, especially when every attempt to focus seems to end in frustration. But no, this isn't the natural state of your brain. It's a conditioned one. Your brain is plastic. It rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do, not what you wish you did. Right now, it's been trained to expect fast rewards and constant stimulation. So when those disappear, it panics. But that panic isn't damage. It's recalibration. The mistake most people make is trying to fix this with willpower. They grit their teeth. They force themselves to focus. They lose. And they conclude they're weak. Willpower was never meant to fight a system this well designed. What works is strategy. That means accepting one uncomfortable truth up front. There is no way out that doesn't pass through withdrawal. You can't ease your way out of the dopamine trap while still feeding it. So instead, you change the rules of the environment. You create blocks of time where distraction isn't resisted, it's impossible. The phone isn't nearby. The tabs aren't open. The hijackers don't have a door to knock on. And then you start smaller than your pride wants to. 10 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of writing, one tiny unit of effort, not heroic, not impressive, but crucially finished. And when you're done, you reward yourself, not with digital sugar, but with something that doesn't spike and crash your brain. A walk, movement, silence, light. You're not removing rewards. You're reconnecting them to effort, teaching your brain, slowly and patiently, that focus pays again. And at first, it won't feel good. But that's not failure. That's the system waking up. Because once the noise dies down, something important becomes audible again. The conductor clears their throat, and for the first time in a while, they lift the baton. This isn't about hating technology. The apps aren't evil. The notifications aren't malicious. They're just very, very good at what they're designed to do. The problem isn't that these tools exist. It's that they've been given unlimited access to a system that was never meant to handle them. The dopamine trap flips your values without asking permission. Things that matter start to feel heavy. Things that don't start to feel irresistible. You lose hours, then days, not in dramatic crashes, but in quiet erosion. A little focus here, a little satisfaction there, until everything important feels harder than it should, and everything easy feels impossible to resist. Reclaiming the conductor means taking back control of what your brain learns to care about. And the strange thing is, the fix is brutally simple. Time and distance. When distractions aren't instantly available, the craving weakens. When the hits stop coming, the tolerance fades. Not overnight, but steadily. The itch to check becomes quieter. The fog lifts, and slowly, almost unexpectedly, effort starts to feel rewarding again. Finishing a page gives a small sense of pride. Solving a problem brings real satisfaction. An hour of focused work leaves you tired but grounded. This is what your brain was built for. Your focus was never broken. It was outsourced. And taking it back isn't about becoming more disciplined. It's about choosing again and again what kind of rewards you want your life to be built on. The endless drip of easy stimulation, or the slower, deeper satisfaction of doing something that actually matters. That choice is uncomfortable, it's frustrating, and it's yours. And once you make it, the trap doesn't vanish. But it does lose its power because the conductor's back on the podium, and the orchestra finally can play.